Okay, we're in the sugya of minig hamakoim, that your person is noig the minig of the churmis of the place they came from, the place they're going to, and we're continuing. And this is discussing the second day of Yontif. We're on the bottom of Nun Aleph Amid Beis, the second line from the bottom. Amalei Rav Safra at the end of the line. Rav Safra says Rav Safra Rabbi Abba ki going anon the adinam b'kviyah diarcha. We who know the kaviyah diarcha, meaning we know exactly when we're mekadosh the levana, and therefore we know when Yontif is, and we only keep one day Yontif, right? B'yishuv loy avidna. When we come to a yishuv, a place that is like 2 days Yontif, we can't do malacha. Because again, it's going to cause machloikis where, how can we do malacha in a place where they don't do malacha? But midbar mai, what about the midbar? Can we do malacha in the midbar? Which we saw yesterday, fellas, right? That you go outside the yishuv where no one can see you, right? And then you could do malacha. In fact, we said the only things that you could do on the minig hamakom is to go ahead and b'tzina, you were able to do things that people can find out about, such as eating the fat that people don't eat. Or second, anything that you could do b'tzina, you'll be able to do in the second day yontif. Malacha, however, you cannot, because that's something that if people would find out, that would cause machlokes. So Amalei, so Hachi Amar Rav Ami, b'yishuv asa b'midba muta. So Rav Ami got a psak, and the yishuv asa b'midba is muta. Rav Nasin says Rav Nasin Barasya, and also mi bei Rav lePumpadisa b'yamtif shenik shalat seres. On the second day of Shavuos, he traveled from the house of Rav to Pumpadisa on the second day, and again they kept 2 days yontif, and he's traveling on the second day. Shamti Reb Yosef. Reb Yosef promptly put him in chayrim for going ahead and violating the second day yontif. Only Abayo says Abayo ulinagdei mar negida. Why don't you give him malchus mardus? Amalei. So Rabbi Yosef told Abaya, adifa of delay. I did worse to him. In other words, going in chayrim is worse than malchus, and therefore I gave him the more mechumedika avera. Right? The Marav in Eretz Yisrael mimni anagdei the beibarav mimni ashamta. In order to give malchus mardus, we had to convene the bezdin. However, if a person was chayv shamto, we didn't even convene the bezdin. Immediately we put him in chayrim. So the fact that we act immediately without the need to go ahead and promptly put him in chayrim, it promptly give him malchus. You see, chayrim is worse. So says Rabbi Yosef, I did to Rav Nasin bar Asya worse by putting him in chayrim. That's the first lashon. Ikadiyami nagdei Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef gave him what? He gave him malchus. Amalei Abaya nishamte mar. Why don't you go ahead and put him in chayrim? Says the Rabbi Shmuel Damit Shabayu Menadin al Shnei Yom Tov Shel Golius. Rabbi Shmuel says if a person doesn't keep the second day of Yontif, he goes to Nidui. So why did you just give him malchus? So Amalei Hanimili, when do you put a person in chayrim, which is admittedly worse than malchus? Hanimili in Ishtalma, it's a regular guy. Over here, it's Sumim Rabbanan who Rav Nasim Barasi is a Talmud Chacham. The Tavalei update and why? Then we treated him well by only going ahead and giving him malchus. Now, how do you know chayrim is worse? The Marav Mimni and the Gasa the Beirav Mimni Ashamta. They would go and they would convene the court to give malchus, and therefore, but Masenkin by chayrim they wouldn't convene; they'd immediately do it. So therefore, since it's Talmud Chacham, I didn't go ahead and give him the worst of it. The first lashon we did punish him with the worst of Nidui. In the second one, he gave him malchus. And the next piece of Gemara is challenging. I made a chart to explain it, but to understand it, we have to go back to the Mishnah. Let's go back to the Mishnah. It's the top of Nun Amid Beis. The top of Nun Amid Beis. So we had a Gemara that said in a place if the chatzos on Pesach you can't go to work. And there was a machlokes, not machlokes, there was different minhagim whether before chatzos you could work or not. So if you came from a place that did work, and you came from a place that didn't do work, you have to be knowing the chumrah of the place that didn't work, and you can't work. If you came from a place that didn't work, and you came from a place that did work, you can't go ahead and work, right? We said people aren't going to think that you cause machlokes by not working, they're going to say you're a badman. But either way, you would know the chumrah of the place you didn't work. You know the chumrah of the place you go to, and the chumrah of the place you came from. That's the Mishnah that we saw. Kiyotzeba, the Mishnah says, Kiyotzeba on the back, right? where we commonly hamoilich perish shvius mimakim shekalu lemakim shaloi kalu, and mimakim shaloi kalu lemakim shekalu chayv levayer. You have to get rid of them. You don't even save abolacha avata. Go and bring to you. So Rabbi Yehuda's line is very ambiguous. Save abolacha arata. You bring it. You bring it as well. Okay. First, in order to understand the Gemara, let's discuss what it means beer. What does that mean? Chayv levayer. So we've spent this many times, but for some reason we always have to say it over again. As long as it's available in the field to the animals, then you could have it in your house for your animals or for your own consumption. As soon as it's unavailable in the field, then you have to take it out of your house. Chayv levayer. There's a machlokes rishonim what exactly biur means. Like the Ramban means you have to burn it, you have to get rid of it. Like the Ramban and learn Rashi, right? With Ramban and Rashi, it means that you're mafker it. We pass them like that you take it out and you mafker it. So that's whether you have to mafker it. So therefore, under discussion is you're coming from a place. If you're coming from a place that it wasn't used up to a place that it was used up, it's not available. Simply, you would have to be mevarer it. While you're coming to a place, you can't go ahead and keep it just because they keep it in your place. Conversely, if you're coming from a place where it is available, and you come to a place where it's not available, says Rav Shimon, says Rav Yehuda, we go tell the person, go get it, which seems to me that he's not being noig the chumrah of the place you're coming from. What does he say? He says you're coming from a place that it's still available, and you're going to a place where it's not available. Says Rav Shimon, says Rav Yehuda, go save avlecha, go bring it for yourself. Mashma, what's he saying? Go bring it. Go. Mashma is saying, go bring it, meaning that. Am I coming across clear? My screen seems very funny. You guys hear me?
Like,
slowly? Okay, good. So now, it's mashma, the Gemara is going to ask a kasha, loit Rav Yehuda, if I'm coming from a place that it's available and you're not chayv levayer, and I go to a place where it's not available, therefore there's a chi of beer, says the Tanakama chayv levayer, says Rav Yehuda, go tell him, go get it. Mashma, go to my place and get it where it's available. So therefore, l'chayra, he is being mekel. But the question is, isn't Rabbi Yehuda noig the chumrah of the place he came to? And we know he is, guys. He didn't argue by Pesach. He only argued by Shemitah. If he held that you're not noig the chumrah of the place you came to, why didn't he argue and say, if you come from a place that does do malacha to a place that doesn't do malacha, so you can do malacha, right? Why didn't he say that? And he didn't. So when he didn't say that, you see he taka holes of chumrei amakim. So that's the Gemara's kasha. Gemara's kasha is, what does Rav Shimon mean? So we have four. I'm going to go through a chart now. I'm going to give you four pshatim through the chart, and then we're going to go into Gemara. Four pshatim is what Rav Shimon means. So let's retrieve the chart and see what we got. Very hard to see. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Probably is in pencil. It's very, very hard to see. But I'm going to try to make it a little closer. We'll try to zoom in on. Okay, let's do this. Let's get you out of the way. Okay, here's Rav. You can see this. You can see what it says over here, guys. Rav Sheshes Bereder Rav Idi. He's going to say what the case is speaking about. The Mishnah was discussing two cases. Either it's guys. I'm going to use available, not available. Okay, available means like kalu, it's not consumed, and not available means kalu, it's consumed. But instead of using that word and making it difficult for the people get misconstrued because it says low. I'm going to say available not. So the Mishnah is discussing two cases: available to not available, or not available to available. Says the Gemara, it's ksuri mechsor. There's a third case. You're coming from a place. Look at it, from available to available. Case is speaking where you're coming from available to available, and then it becomes unavailable in number one. So he's available here. He comes to number two, and all of a sudden it's not available in number one where he came from. So says the Tanakama, he has to get rid of it. Even though he's in number two where it's available, since he brought it from number one, and it's not available, he has to get rid of it. That's the Tanakama. Rav Yehuda would say he keeps it. Until what? He keeps it, right? Because he's in place number two. He keeps it because he tells the people in place one, bring from number two. It's not available, right? Guys, it's not available in place number one. Says Rabbi Yehuda, save a havlecha, go bring it from place number two. So therefore, that's the case of the Mishnah. So look back at the Mishnah in Daf Nun. It says, a place available to not available, not available to available, not available. Available, and now we're adding, or a place that's available to a place that's available, and now it becomes unavailable in case number one. Chayv levar, says the Tanakama, you have to go ahead and be mavar of it. Rabbi Yehuda, no, save it's not available in number one. Go to number two and get it. So therefore, that would be pshat in our Mishnah. So it comes out Rabbi Yehuda is being makel. He's not saying Yechayv Levar. He says, since you can get it in place number two, you don't have to go ahead and get rid of it. The problem with that is there was a Messiah, guys. There was a Messiah that Rabbi Yehuda was machmir. So if this is pshat in the Mishnah, how do you explain Rabbi Yehuda being makel? Here, Rabbi Yehuda is being makel. He's saying you're not Chayv Levar. Go get it in place number two. Elama, it must be that what? That's not the pshat. Says Abaya Epach. Switch it around. Says Reb Meir, says the Tanakama, you can get it in place number two, and says Reb Yehuda, what? Says Reb Yehuda that it would be Chayv Levar. So that's the first pshat. The first pshat, according to Rav Shisha Beit Davidi, it's speaking available, then unavailable in what? Reb Yehuda says since it's unavailable in that place, right? We say Havi Lecha, go get it, and since you can't get it because it's not available, Chayv Levar. Said the Chachamim, no. The Chachamim are makel. That's the first pshat. The second pshat is Abaya. Place number one, it's available. You come to place number two, it's unavailable. Now you go back to place number one. Says the Tanakama, you don't have to get rid of it. Since it's available in place number one, it's fine. Since it's available in place number one, it's fine. Says Reb Yehuda, one second. Says Reb Yehuda, the people number one, right, tell him to go look at the place you're coming from. And since the place you're coming from, it's not available, Yechayev Levayer. That's Seva Havlecha. Go ahead, and you're coming from place number two. In place number two, it's not available, Chayev Levayer. The problem with that is, if you took fruit from a place, you go over here, you come back. In this place, it's available. Why should the fact that I was over here make it unavailable? Right now, I'm in a place that's available. Who cares that I went to a place that it's unavailable? If I take grapes from a place that's available, I go to a place that's not available, I'll be knowing the chumrah of the place there, and I won't be mavar. But then I go back over here so of course I don't have to be mavar. Just because I was over there, the Gemara uses the lashon. Just because you were on the back of a donkey doesn't make it awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two, and then I'm going to do the last two. So these first two pshatim are the explanation of the machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim. So let's see it inside. Okay. Says the Gemara, Ki Yotzeba, we're on Nun Beis Amid Aleph now. Right? Ki Yotzeba, Hamelech Perish Shvius from one place, the other place. Says Rabbi Yehuda, we tell the guy who bring it. The less later Rabbi Yehuda Hadet Nan. Again, the Havamina guys, it's speaking from a place that's available to a place that's unavailable. Right? A place that's available to a place that's unavailable. And Rabbi Yehuda is saying, go to the place that's available and bring it. Mashma, he doesn't hold of the chumrah of the place that he's in. He's in a place where it's unavailable. If you hold the chumrah of the makom shebolikan, why in the world did Rabbi Yehuda say, go ahead and back to place number one and bring it, right? And we know he's noyig the chumrah because he didn't argue by malacha on Pesach. So it says the Gemara, so he's going to a place where it's unavailable. How can he say, go bring it from the place that's available? Rabbi Yehuda is saying a completely different thing, guys, like a chesuri mechsera. He's bringing a third case. Again, first two cases, available, unavailable, unavailable, available. Now, no, harchikama, oimi makom shaloi kala, a place where it's available. The makom shaloi kalu, to a space number two that it's available. Both places are available. It's shama, and then he hears shekala b'mkomo, and in place number one where he's coming from, he wanted to hear in place number one that he's coming from. He heard that what, and now it's unavailable. Chayiv levayer, says the Tanakama, you chayiv to go ahead and be mevayer. Rav Yehuda Omer, seva havilacha, go bring it from place number two where it's available. Afata, mehechid asinon, go bring it now from the place that what, where the new town that you're in. V'halei kalalahu, and therefore what, it's not what, it's available. So that's the machloikis, and it comes out Rabbi Yehuda is being makel over the Tanakama. Guys, the Amoraim are grappling as to what Rabbi Yehuda meant. He never met Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said an ambiguous statement, go bring it. Go tell him to bring it. And they had no clue what he meant. But they did have a Messiah. Whatever he meant, it was a chumrah. What Rabbi Elazar says, whatever Rabbi Yehuda meant, it was a chumrah. So don't tell me, like the Tanakama, Yechai Levaer, and Lord of Yehuda, you can bring it from place number two. That's not true. It's not true. That can't be the pshat. You know what the pshat is? Says the Tanakama, since you can bring it from place number two, you're good. Says Rabbi Yehuda, save a havlacha. Tell him, bring it from place number one. It's finished over there, you're finished. Rabbi Yehuda, no, save a havlacha. Go bring it for hakalalahu. Go bring it from the place you came from. Where did you come from? Place number one. Place number one, it's finished. Okay, that's the first shot. Abaya Amar, Abaya is the second shot. La'olam kidiktani. It's like you learned. It's not speaking available. It's speaking about available, right? And then unavailable. It's speaking available and unavailable. You had a kasha, you know the chumrah of the makom. V'hachi kamar. Oimi makom shaloi kalu, a place where it's available. L'makom shekalu, to a place where it is unavailable. And now you're bringing it back to the place where it's available. And the place where you're coming to, it's still available. Says the Tanakama, you're not chayiv l'mevar. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, seva havalacha avata mehechidasina. Come bring it from the place where you are. And therefore what? And that was color. So let's just review it to make sure we got it, right? Because it's a lot of words and it's hard. So here we have it. The first pshat was what? The first pshat, the case is speaking, where again, it's like a chesuri mechsera, available, and then what? And then it becomes in this place it becomes unavailable, so you must get rid of it according to the Tanakama, which promptly chayiv levayer. Rabbi Yehuda says no, you go ahead and say bring it from place number two and you're good. For the Gemara on that, what's the problem? Rabbi Yehuda is being makel, we have Nesar that is being machmir, switch it around. Tanakama says, bring it from place number two. Rabbi Yehuda says, since I can't bring it from place number one, it's finished. Next case. The Bias says no. Bias says it's speaking in a place where loy kalu, to a place where kalu, a place where it's available, to a place where it's unavailable, and now you're returning to that spot. So you went from here to here to here. Says the Tanakama, ain't a chayiv levayer, because right now its place is available. Says Rabbi Yehuda, seva havilacha, go bring it from place number two. Place number two, what? It's what? It's unavailable. So therefore, you be chayiv levayer. What's the question on that? Let's see the Gemara. Maskal Rav Ashi, Rabbi Yehuda, atu agbo dechamro kaltinu. Did the go ahead, the back of the donkey, did it absorb the isser? In other words, just because the donkey was here, it doesn't bring the isser over here. So therefore, this pshat that's the question on this pshat. So the first two pshatim have everything to do with minig hamakom. The latter two pshatim have nothing whatsoever to do with that. It's a shmita dikadin, guys. The latter two cases, we want to make it into a shmita dikadin. Okay, what's the latter two cases? You have a barrel. You have a barrel, and there are three. It's the Shemitah year. You have three species, 1, 2, and 3. They're in the barrel, and 1 and 2 are now colored. They're not available in the field. Number 3 is. Says Rebbe Lazar, if one of the species is gone from the field, you can't eat it. Since they're pickled in the barrel together, we know the halacha is kavish harihenkim a bushel. Pickling something is like makes it cooked. So all three are going to absorb from each other. So even though species 3 is available, it has absorptions of 1 and 2. And thus Rebbe Lazar says, right, you can't eat it. Rebbe Yeshua goes to the other extreme. As long as 1's available, you can eat all of them. 1, 2, and 3. Even if 1 and 2 are not available, since 3 is available, you can eat all 3. So let Rabbi Yehuda, if 1 is not available, let Rabbi Elazar, if 1 is not available, all gone. If Rabbi Yeshua says if 1 is available, you're all on. Says Rabbi Gamliel, the third shita, a peshara, 1, 2, and 3, you wouldn't be able to eat 1 and 2 because they're gone in the field, but you would be able to eat 3. Good? You would be able to eat 3. Now, the Tanakama, guys, he holds like who? He holds like Rabbi Yeshua, that if all 3 are gone, then you chayv levar. If 1 is still available, you can eat all 3. Therefore, he says, Eino chayv levar. I don't have to go ahead and get rid of the barrel. I can eat any, since 1 is available, I can eat all 3. And why does Rabbi Yehuda hold? Rabbi Yehuda says no. Rabbi Yehuda holds like Rabbi Gamliel. Now, as long as you can eat what's available and you can't eat what's not available. So since you can tell them, go see if it's available in the field, and if it's not, chayv levar, that's the min. In other words, he holds 1, 2, and 3. Go see if 1's available. Go look. Say go bring me number 1. You can't eat it. Go bring me number 2. You can't eat it. Go bring me number 3. Oh, you can bring me number 3. You can eat it. You can bring number 3. You can eat it. So like the Tanakama, you can eat all of them because he holds like Rabbi Yeshua. As long as 1 of them is available, all 3 are available. According to Rabbi Yehuda, he also like the Tanakh Rabbi Gamliel. What's available is available. What's not, not. So therefore, he argues on the Tanakama. He says you can't eat the whole thing. You can only eat what's available. Whatever you could say, go, Vahabi, and bring, you could eat. Since you can get in our scenario, you can bring number 3, you can eat it. That's the pshat according to Rav Ashi. We have one final pshat. That's pshat according to Ravina. We have a palm tree, guys. The palms, they fall off the tree. They land on like branches, and then they also land on thorns that are below. So the branches are called keepin, and the thorns are called shitzin. They're called keeping the branches, and the thorns are called shitzin. So now, says the Tanakama, if none are available period, even in the thorny part. Now, in the thorny part, the animals won't be able to eat it because it's thorny. Says the Tanakama, I don't care. As long as I can see it, it's considered available. Therefore, you're not chayv levar. Therefore, you're not chayv levar because it's there, even if it's not available. However, Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion. What happened? Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion. They tell him, go get from the place that's ready to get, from the keeping. Go get from the branches. And if it's not available, then chayv levar. If it's in the thorns where you can't get it, you'd have to go ahead. So when he says, say v'havi lecha, go get it, meaning if it's from a place you can get it, meaning the branches, then you could eat it. If it's not available in the branches, it's only available in the thorns where the animals can't eat it, then we're going to say chayv levar. So it's interesting. The first two pshatim were going along with the lines of the machlokes of between the Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda was also totally in Munich, available, not available in different places. The latter two terutzim have nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's totally a machlokes in Shemitah. I didn't pickle Shemitah. I didn't day palm Shemitah. It's very, very interesting. So let's see the latter two cases, and we'll all go to sleep happy. Camp is conquering a difficult Gemara in a very nice way. Says the Gemara inside. Elam Rav Ashi, the plukta dahani tanoi. Okay, this is the pickle juice. The nan. Hakoyvish shloisha kvashim v'chavis achas. You're pickling 3 different types of vegetables. We'll call them 1, 2, and 3 in a barrel. And again, what's the aside, guys? What's the aside? That kovish harukum avashal. Rabbi Lezer oima oichlin ala rishon. You eat on the rishon, meaning if the first one's available and the second one's available and the third one's available, you could eat. If the first one's not available, all gone, because the other two they absorb from our number one, and since number one's not available, neither is 2 and 3 because of the absorption of number one. Rabbi Yeshua, I mean, no, afala achrein. As long as one's available, that's not color from the field. As long as it's available, you could eat the other two. Af achrein, you could eat the other two. Totally opposite of Rebbe Eliezer. Rabbi Gamliel loyma a pshara, a compromise. Kol shekila minay min asadeh. Anyone where the min is not in the field anymore, yivar, you have to get rid of. Minay min achavis. Ba'alacha kidvarav. And the halacha is like him. So therefore, we could let Rebbe Eliezer if one's not available, none's available. Could Rebbe Yeshua if one's available, they're all available. According to Rebbe Gamliel, it depends. Whatever's available is available. Okay, now what's the application in Hamachlokes? Very geschmack. The Tanakama who holds, he holds like Rabbi Yeshua. So since one's available, one pickle available, all available. And Rabbi Yehuda holds like Rabbi Gamliel. Say v'havelecha. Go bring it. Go bring what's available. Since you can't bring one, since you can't bring two, but you could bring 3, 1 and 2 would be unavailable. Out, 1 would be good. It's Rabbi Yehuda doesn't. The places must discuss why Rabbi Yeshua is not worried about the belia of number 1 and 2 and 3. Now, the final machlokes is the machlokes by what? Is the machlokes by the dates. Ravina Amar beplukta dahani tanoy that nan oichlin b'tamarim ashi kala achron shebet sayar. Fellas, we're going to see on the Amid Beis, you don't go after each individual person. When it says not available in the field, you go after locales. So I'm giving you a Gemara that we're going to see on the Amid Beis. Three locales in Eretz Yisrael: Yehuda, Golul, and Ever Yarden. Within each one, there's 3 other places. In each one of the 3 places for Yehuda, let's say there's A, B, and C. As long as it's available in one of these, then the other ones can eat. If A is gone and B is gone, as long as C is around, you could eat in Yehuda. However, if it's Yehuda and Golul are different locales. So, for example, if it's unavailable in Yehuda, you still could eat in Golul if it's available in Golul. They're all 3 separate zones. However, within one zone, Yehuda, Ever Yarden, or Golul, there's 3 locales. And even if it's not available in one locale, as long as it's available in the other one of them, you can eat in all of them. So here's what we got. You can eat from dates until Tsoar, which was a town in Yehuda. That's the last place it's going to go ahead and be. Rabbi Shimon Amid Beis says, al shel bein hakipin, bein oichlin al shen bein hashitzin. You can eat when it's between the branches. You can't eat when it's between the thorns. So therefore, what's the application by us? Like the Tanakama, as long as it's available, even in the shitzin, even in the thorns, you can go ahead and eat it in the house. Like Rabbi Gamliel, only when it's in the branches. Like the Rabbi Yehuda, only where you can say, go and bring it. You can't bring it from the thorns, guys. So if the tamarim that fall down are in the thorns, it's not going to help you. You'll be chayv levar. Those are the 4 machlokes and how to explain the Mishnah. 2 with customs and 2 with shmita. We're all good? Great. That chart is very old. It's about how I upgraded it. It's old chart, but it worked well. Says the Gemara, Tanan Hasan, Shloisha Artzos Labir. The 3 areas, Labir, I just told you, Yehuda, Ve'ever Yarden, V'Golul. U'Shloisha Artzos B'Cholachas Ve'achas, and each one, there's a separate one, a total of 9. V'Lama Amu Shloisha Artzos Labir, She'yo'oichlin B'Cholachas Ve'achas, each one is separated individually, Ashiyakala Achron Sheba, until each one separately, ABC, right? In 1, ABC in 2, ABC in 3. So as long as A and B, as long as one of those are available in area 1, 2, or 3, then what? Then the halacha would be that you would be not chayv levar. Minani Mili, how do you know there are three distinct zones? Amar Rav Chama bar Ukva, Amar Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina, Amar Kra, Ulavhem Techa, Ulachaya Shebar Atzecha. Now it's very, it says by Shemitah, it says your animal, and then Chaya Asher Be'atzecha. Kol Zman Shechaya Oicheles Min Hasadeh. Why you're going from Behemoth to Chaya? Because the Chaya lives in the wild. The whole time a chaya eats in the fields, you're able to feed the behemoth in the bayis. Once you go ahead and the chaya, it's not available in the field anymore. Then no longer will be available to the animal in the house. You'd have to be mavar. Ugemiri, and we have a Messiah. The ain chaya sheb Yehuda gedila al perish sheb Golol. So guys, why if it's available in Golol, like why don't we just go after Eretz Yisrael as one place? So we're saying we have a Messiah that a chaya that lives in Yehuda will not go to Golol. So therefore that's one area. And a chaya in Golol won't go to Yehuda. Ain chaya sheb Golol gedila al perish sheb Yehuda. They won't grow. So Menela, they're separate areas, and therefore they're treated separately. Tanabanim. Perish yatzam Eretz Yisrael l'chutz la'aretz. Peretz that go out from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz La'aretz. You bring Peretz Shemitah out from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz La'aretz. Mizvarim b'chol makom sheheim. You can go get rid of them. The Zman of beer is over. You get rid of them wherever they are. Shimon Elazar Omer yachziru l'mkomam. You bring them back to Eretz Yisrael. V'yizbarum, and you go ahead one and remove them in Eretz Yisrael. Mishum shenemar it says ba'artzecha, because it says ba'artzecha.
So is this the problem with Shemitah wine?
That's definitely a problem with Shemitah wine. I'm going to finish the sugi. I'll speak out Shemitah wine. I'll speak it out to you. It says ba'artzecha, meaning in your land. So you have to get rid of it in your land. Fred the Gemara, how could you use your land when we just used it for something else? Right? We used it already to tell me that there are 3 areas in Eretz Yisrael, and one is not considered the other one. It's different. So how can you use it to tell me that you have to get rid of ba'artzecha? It says, if it wanted to just say one halacha, it would say ba'aretz. My ba'artzecha, why does it say ba'artzecha? Teach me 2 halachas. The halacha of the 3 areas that they don't they're interdependent, they're independent of each other, and they tell me halacha that you have to move in your ba'artzecha. Inami or else me asher ba'artzecha. The lashon about asher ba'artzecha. Rasafa nafig me Eretz Yisrael l'chutz la'aretz. Rasafa left Eretz Yisrael to go to chutz la'aretz. Havi bahadei gavra de chamra de shvius. He had a barrel of wine of shmita. He had a barrel of shmita wine. Love of hadei Rav Huna breder of Ika. He was accompanied by Rav Huna breder of Ika. Rav Kahana. So Amalahu Ika de shmile minei de Rabavo. Did anyone hear from Rabavo halacha Reb Shimon Elazar whether you have to go back to Eretz Yisrael to get rid of it? Oilai. Amir Rav Kahana hachiyam Rabavo halacha Reb Shimon Elazar that you have to go back. You don't have to go back. You can get rid of it wherever you are. Okay? So I'm Rav Safed Nakir Haklala Rav Huna Biyadcha. You can be samech on Rabbi Yehuda that you don't have to go back. The Daik v'Gomesh Shmaitza mi Pumei the Rabbi, because he was Medayik and Gomesh Shmaitza from the mouth of his Rabbi Kirachba Shtiva Pumbedisa. Dama Rachba Rav Yehuda. On the days of Rachba there was Rav Yehuda and there was Rav Yehuda in the Sia. So the Rachba was machbet to say b'shem Rav Yehuda and not b'shem Rav Yehuda ben Nasiya. So you can know that Rav Huna was like Rachba, and he said exactly Rabbi Vo said, not that the halacha is like Rabbi not like Rabbi Elazar, but in fact the halacha is not like him. In fact, you don't have to go back. Rav Yehuda, why do you say Rav Rachma Yehuda Harabai Stoya Kafal Haya? There were double benches. Stoya Kufnim, Stoya Kari Rav Yosef. I made Eitza Yishol Umakla Yogid Loi Kol Mako. What does it say? And that basically that Kol HaMako Loi Magid Loi. And he was therefore, he went, is chayza on the words of Rabbi Yehuda, the Mako of Pasuk Shaloi Ke Rabbi Shmuel. Therefore, he's you know that he's very makbid, right? He's very makbid that he's very makbid that to say things meduyak. Okay, I'm gonna stop over here and speak out a little bit. We'll pick this up tomorrow because it's a new sugya. The Shemitah wine is a very, first of all, the constant when you have Shemitah wine, you go to the airport in the Shemitah year, and you go to the what's that called? In the airport, duty free. You go to duty free. You'll find Shemitah wine. How could they sell it? Is because they're soymich on what's called the heta mechira, that the Jew sold his vineyard to a goy during the Shemitah year. That's the heta mechira, and that's why they sell it. From Jews, Orthodox Jews, many people are not soymich on the heta mechira. So if you're not soymich on the heta mechira, you have a Shemitah problem because that wine has kedusha Shemitah. Now, if you bring it out, you're not allowed to take it out of Eretz Yisrael. All you could take out is the amount that you could drink in one shot. Once you take out a bottle, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. And we paskin, you can mavar it b'chomokim, you get rid of it. And you don't have to go back to Eretz Yisrael. We don't say like Shem ben Allah, so you don't have to go back to Eretz Yisrael. That's the din in Shemitah wine. Conversely, it's very interesting by Esroigim. The Shemitah Esroigim, they do have, you could really let it rot. Once it rots, you could throw it out. But they do have people that sell Esroigim, and they're not samech and het the mechira. If for some reason they have bins, you return them and they bring them back to Eretz Yisrael to let them rot over there. Why they hold like Rav Shimon Elazar by Esroigim, I'm not exactly sure. But I know those are two halachas that are noig bisman hazeh in regarding Shemitah.
Great. Sure.
Thank you.
Did anyone watch the share last night?
Yes.
When I wasn't
Thank
there?
you. Thank you.
How many people? 2 people?
No, a lot.
I went to it and it says no views. I don't know why.
I saw it.
I saw it.
Okay, fine.
Right.
I thought it was a very good. It was
Very
just good. I thought good. Baruch Hashem. Okay, great.
Hashem. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you,
Good
guys.
night. Good night. Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Bye bye. Thank you.